Hi there, I'm Davwin, and I'm going to do a unscripted tutorial and explanation of Davwin's MurrpTools. MurrpTools is a toolkit that I've developed for people that need to either install Windows 10 or 11 without any of the nasty bloat that has been being added to Windows lately, as well as it is a recovery toolkit that allows you to repair your computer if anything goes wrong with it. The entire purpose of MurrpTools is to give the power of having computer technician tools available to those that have less computer knowledge, and was generally made for my friends, but I kept expanding it out and wanted to make something that available for the general public. The entire purpose of this tool is so that you can either recover files, repair your Windows installation, or most importantly for me, being able to install Windows 10 or 11 without the excessive amount of bloat that Windows comes with the moment you try to install on your computer, without having to use the more sketchy tools out there. The entire purpose of MurrpTools is it's completely open source. I encourage people to go through my source code and verify that everything that is done in there isn't sketchy or unusual. The entire purpose of this is I found a ton of different debloat tools out there, none of which are very transparent or clear what they're doing. One of the very few that I'm going to throw a kudos out to is Titus's Tech Tools. His is actually rather good and open sourced. But the entire purpose of this is to allow you to install Windows clean from the get-go. I have a little over 15 years of computer technician experience. I am a systems administrator, and I've been doing the technical things with Windows basically since the start of Windows. I will take you guys through how to use the tool and just general tips and tricks, and hopefully this will all make sense. This is just going to be a surface level how you use the tool tutorial, and there's much more advanced things you can do with this tool, but I want to provide a video here just for the basics. So for us to begin off here, you just need to go to github.com/davwin/MurrpTools-winkit, or you can just simply go to github.com/davwin and just look for MurrpTools WinKit on my front page there. You can download MurrpTools by either clicking on releases over here or the little release badge down here. Once you get to the releases page, just click on source code zip and you'll get a download screen. You can see I've already downloaded it in advance just so that you don't have to wait in this video, but you just hit save. I would suggest you try to put this in a folder reasonably high up on your computer. You don't want it to be super deep under several layers of folders. My personal choice was I just made a folder called build on my top level folder. So in this case on my E drive. You can put on your C drive, doesn't really matter where you put it as long as it's somewhere that isn't buried. On top of that, you'll also, when you go down in the instructions here, so by the way, this is a GPL 3.0 license I put on this project, which means it's open for all. You can modify it, you can change it, you can redistribute it, you can do basically anything you like other than selling it. And this is just a quick explainer of all the different things you can do. You will need to use either Windows 10 24H2 or any version Windows 11 to build this because you do require Windows PowerShell 5.1 or higher. And we also need to make sure that we download whatever version Windows you want. So it can be Windows 10 or 11. I have an official link over here to Windows 11. So for Windows 11, you just go to the download page, and we specifically want an ISO file. So you can scroll down here to Windows 11 ISO, confirm, and same deal. I already downloaded this one in advance just so that people don't have to wait because Microsoft takes quite a while to give you this file. But you then choose your language, so in my case English. And then you want the 64-bit download. It's going to ask you where to save it. I've already dropped it into my build folder here. Lastly, you'll also want to grab Rufus, which I will show you near the end of the tutorial there, at least for this first phase. So, first things up, you want to do option 1, simple download zip. For those of you that have the technical skill, you can always use the advanced method, but this tutorial will focus mainly on the simple method for people that have less computer knowledge here. So first up, I'm going to need to unzip the folder. So there's MurrpTools WinKit. I'm going to right click on it, extract all, and then just hit extract. And there we go. So it is now right here. So build MurrpTools, and it insists on putting it into another folder called MurrpTools, but that's fine. And there it is. And then let's see, next step. Install dependencies in staging at the building location. So if you go into here, there is a MurrpTools folder, and there it is. 1, dependencies and staging. All you need to do is just double click on that. It's going to say, are you sure you want to run? Yes, please. And you'll get this screen saying dependencies have not been extracted. Press enter to extract them now. So this will allow MurrpTools to unpack itself. And then you have two different choices here. You can choose to either unpack MurrpTools to a different location or where it already is. I would always suggest doing the first option just because it's much easier. You know exactly where it is already. So I'm going to choose option 1. And MurrpTools is now unpacked. So as per the instructions here, it says about grabbing your drivers as well as just running step 2. So I'm going to hit enter to close that. And what it's referring to is right down here, preparing drivers. So not all manufacturers play nice with the default Windows drivers that come with Windows installation media. You may have noticed this if you try to reinstall Windows on a laptop. This is optional, but sometimes you need it for certain manufacturers. You can try just building MurrpTools without any drivers and see if it works fine. But if you're having issues, especially if it's one of these vendors, just go and grab the drivers. So for example, let's pick on Dell here. If I went to the Dell website here, what you're looking for is Windows PE drivers. So there we are, Windows PE version, Windows PE 11, which is what we want. You'd hit click here. It'll give you the choice of downloading drivers. You can hit download now. Seems their website doesn't properly open that. One moment. I will right click and say save link as because apparently they aren't doing that right. And then there's your driver cab. You can hit save. And then I will take you back to that folder. And you'll see that there is our driver cab. What you'll want to do on that is right click. And sometimes you may not see the option to extract. I would suggest installing 7-zip because it has the ability to unpack cab files much more reliably. If you have 7-zip installed, you can just simply go to 7-zip, extract to its own folder, and there we go. So these are all the drivers. You don't need to worry about any fancy organization. I say just grab the whole thing. We go into MurrpTools, and then right here where it says WinPE drivers, you just drop the drivers in. It's that simple. Going back to the MurrpTools folder, we can now move on to the next step. So download the Windows installation media. We've already done that. For advanced users, you can absolutely use UUP dump so you can have the latest updates. Again, this is just a top level tutorial, so I won't go deep into the advanced stuff. And now we need to do our selection of desired debloat tools. So for basic users, you can just completely ignore this step. It already has Titus Tech Tools and MurrpTools Davwin's Debloat, both included in the package, as well as O&O Soft's Setup. If you don't want those tools, you can turn them off, or you can just leave the defaults and it'll grab them. So if you're curious about that, advanced users, I'll very briefly show you. So if we open that up in Notepad, you'll see it's a JSON file, and you can just choose what tools are enabled or disabled, or as well as adding your own additional tools. But for basic users, don't worry about it. You can just continue using what you already got in there. So next, building the MurrpTools media. Quite simply, you just need to find the build MurrpTools build file, right-click on it, and say Run as Administrator. So let's go do that. There's build MurrpTools image. I'm going to right-click on it, and I'm going to say Run as Administrator. There we are, and you'll get this screen come up. I just had to answer yes to the user account control window that said, are you sure you want to run that as administrator? And I hit enter. It's going to ask me for where my Windows installation media is. So that is the Windows installer that you just downloaded earlier. In the window, it's going to look for that ISO file. So there's my Windows 11 24H2. And as I said, you can do Windows 10, but remember Windows 10 is going to expire on October 2025. So I do suggest moving up to Windows 11. You select the image, you hit open, and it's going to verify that the file you gave it is legitimate. There you go, Windows 11 or higher detected, and it will automatically build. So we'll just sit back and give this a couple of moments. I'll make this full screen so you can see what's going on. So you can see it already grabbed all of the Debloat tools, and now it's rebuilding. And now it's adding all of the Windows Toolkit enhancements. And finally, if you provide any drivers, it's now adding all those drivers. And also, I'm going to stick a flash drive into my computer in advance here. Just going to close my Discord so it's not distracting. Okay, and it's finally now just finishing building the image. And there we go. So now the MurrpTools image is built. So this is a replacement for the normal Windows installation file that you would get. So it's going to tell you that it's stored the file in the MurrpTools folder and that it's ready to go. And it gives you instructions here for Rufus, but I will show you myself directly. So you can just hit enter and it'll close. And there's the new file right there, MurrpTools version 1.0.0, which may change if you get a later version. So we're going to go back to our instructions. Image MurrpTools to flash drive. You will need to take the ISO file and flash it to your flash drive. So in my case, I've already stuck a flash drive into my computer. And here are the instructions. You're going to need to use a tool like Rufus. You can use other tools that can image files, but again, keeping this tutorial nice and simple, Rufus is the easiest one out there. So here's the Rufus website. I'm just going to scroll down and I'm going to get the portable version of Rufus. Just click on there. And as you can see, I've already saved it, but you just put it into any folder that you need. And then we're going to go and open that. So back up to build. I'm going to open Rufus. And you're going to get Rufus prompting you for this. I'm going to say yes. And it's going to ask you to select the image. So I'm going to go select. I'm going to go to my E drive. Build. MurrpTools. There's my MurrpTools version 1. Open. And then let's make sure that everything matches. So, partition scheme, GPT, yep. Target system, UEFI. I'm going to have to click on advanced to show everything, but target system, UEFI, correct. Rufus might prompt you for this. You can just answer yes. You do not want the additional labels or anything like that, so I'm going to uncheck that. And then once you click on start, it's going to ask you about Windows user experience. So I'm going to hit start. Oh yeah, make sure before you hit it, you make sure you're putting it onto the flash drive that you want to do it on. And I suggest you uncheck these options. All of these features that Rufus is offering, MurrpTools already does built in. So you don't want to turn these on because it might conflict with MurrpTools. So I'm going to simply turn them all off and I'm going to hit OK. It says warning, it's going to wipe out your flash drive. So again, make sure there's nothing on your flash drive that you need because it's going to erase it to put MurrpTools on your flash drive. Go ahead and hit OK. And then Rufus is going to do its thing here. So since I'm going to be doing the tutorial on my computer, I won't be actually using a physical computer but a virtual machine. But for your purposes, you would wait until Rufus finishes, you close it out, and then you pull the flash drive out, stick it into the computer you want, and you'll want to boot off of it just like a normal Windows installer. There's a lot of tutorials out there of how to install Windows. It's the same procedure, except that you already now have the flash drive set up. So for our purposes, I'm going to just make a virtual machine and pretend that I have that flash drive plugged in. So I'm going to open up, in my case, Hyper-V here. This is a completely blank workstation here. And in my case, I'm just going to load MurrpTools into it. So it thinks that the flash drive is installed or inserted into it. And I will take you through these last few steps here. So let me switch views over so that you can get a nice clean view of this window. So MurrpTools is already loaded in. It's as if the flash drive was plugged into it. And it's going to start Windows. And this is Windows on the flash drive, not the one on your computer. And here's MurrpTools. So you can do a whole bunch of different things in MurrpTools. You can do file recovery, system repairs. You can unlock BitLocker drives as long as you know what the BitLocker key is. You can do a whole bunch of different things in here. If you want to go through the tools, you can always either hit the little start menu over here, and you can see all various tools. You can do different recovery options. You can run PowerShell scripts in here. You can do just about anything that you can do on a normal Windows computer, but this is operating outside of your normal Windows, which allows you to do all kinds of things, including recovering files, undeleting files, trying to like modify system settings. You can even edit the registry and such. But in our case, we're just going to keep things simple. We are going to be doing a clean Windows reinstallation. So you can either choose option 1 here on the launcher script, or you can use the buttons on the side. The reason why there's a launcher here is for people who cannot use a mouse for some reason. So say you're using a laptop and you can't get the mouse to work, you can do everything completely driven by the keyboard if you needed to. But in our cases, I'm going to click on the Install with MurrpTools button here at the top. And the first thing MurrpTools is going to offer you if your drive is unlocked is it's going to say, hey, do you want me to grab the drivers from your existing Windows install so that I can reinstall them automatically for you? This is really handy if you're trying to just wipe and reload Windows and you want to keep all the drivers that you spent all that time finding to install in your computer. If you don't want to, you can just simply answer no. In my case, I'm going to answer no because there's no drivers that I need for this particular computer here. So it's going to exit without harvesting. And now it's running the Windows installer. And although this looks pretty much like your normal Windows installer, it is slightly modified. So we're going to just step through it like normal. So set your language. For your product key, you can either enter it in right away or answer, I don't have my product key, and you can always activate Windows later. You choose your edition of Windows. This might automatically limit your options to the license key that your computer already has with a modern computer. So for example, if you already had Windows 10 Pro, it might only offer Windows 11 Pro. If that's the case, you select whichever option is most relevant. Click Next. You'll want to choose where you want to install. So this is where you would either delete out old partitions that you no longer need and install fresh, or you just install on a completely blank disk. This is where you need to be careful, and the usual boilerplate warnings come into place with any installation of Windows. Make very sure you know where you're installing Windows. If you aren't careful, you might accidentally erase files that you needed. So always be very careful on this step. In our case, there's absolutely nothing on this virtual computer, so I'm just going to click Next. And we're going to just run through here the normal Windows installation. Also, this is past the halfway point. The only thing that remains is the Windows setup itself, which will be coming up next here. Almost there. And then once you see this screen, do not restart your computer yet. MurrpTools still has something more to do. Just let the little timer run out, and MurrpTools will take over again. So it's found location. And if you had drivers backed up, it would automatically be installing them for you right now. I don't, so I'll just hit enter to continue, and this will restart the computer. Now it's going to try to set up Windows for the first time. Now, this is also where MurrpTools does its magic. It's going to actually intercept the Windows initial setup and allow you to debloat Windows before Windows has a chance to attack you with all that garbage that comes out of the Windows installer. So we're just going to give it a moment here to boot up. There we go. So MurrpTools has taken over. And here is the debloat options. So if you are on a laptop using Wi-Fi, you can use the first option there to get into your Wi-Fi options. So for example, I'm going to hit 1. And this will let you connect to the Wi-Fi and get everything needed if you need internet connection at this stage. If you're just doing everything offline, then that's totally fine. You don't need it. Option 2 lets you open PowerShell if you're an advanced user and know what you're doing. You can fiddle around with Windows before it boots for the first time. I've got, for option 3, my own debloater. So we're going to open Davwin's Debloat. And we're going to just simply run offline, but you can attempt to run the latest from the internet if you're online. For Davwin's Debloat, this project still needs a lot of love, but I have the bare bones here set up. It's a little rough around the edges. I'm hoping eventually I can improve my Debloat tool here, but it's entirely optional. The idea behind Davwin's Debloat is it'll let you choose yourself everything that you want to remove from the computer. I'm just going to try to quickly fly through this and just give you a very brief explanation of some of these choices, as hopefully the Debloat tool will be improved in the near future here. So, web experience has all the annoying widgets on the taskbar that everybody hates. So I'm going to simply say yes, remove it. Do I want to keep, or do I want to remove Windows Solitaire collection? Sure, I want to get rid of that. Bing weather, gone. Do I want the get help app? Nope. I'm going to say yes, get rid of that. Windows alarms, sure, I'll keep that. So I'm just going to either answer N for no or just leave it blank for it to assume no. Windows camera, it can stay. Your phone, I don't want that. Outlet for Windows, I don't want that, so I'm going to say yes. DevTools for Edge, I don't want it. Power Automate Desktop, don't want it. Cross Device, don't want it. Dev Home, don't want it. Big News, don't want it. And I'm just going to go through a whole bunch of these like Office Hub, Sticky Notes, Feedback, Sound Recorder. I don't want most of this junk, so I'm going to answer yes to most of these, but everybody's opinion will be different. So maybe you might want some of these things. If you do, just either don't answer or answer no. So Internet Explorer, absolutely no reason to be keeping that. Getting rid of that. Old Windows Media Player, gone. Don't care about the wallpapers. Don't care about Hello Face. I don't plan on using handwriting. I might use OCR, so I'll leave that one blank. Speech, I might use that. That's dictation. Text to speech, yep, that's handy. I'll leave that alone. Steps recorder, don't need it. Xbox, some people want it, some people don't. I'm going to just simply say, sure, keep it for now. Teams, don't want. Cortana, don't want. And it's going to run through that first set. And then now we're down to services, Windows search. Most people need that, so I'm going to leave it intact. Hotspot, nope. I don't plan on using my laptop like a cell phone, so get rid of it. Media player sharing, I'm not planning on sharing media with other computers, so I'm getting rid of that. Insider program, don't want it. Error reporting, I'm turning that off. Wallet service, absolutely not. I don't want them having my credit card information. Superfetch, this is an SSD, so I can answer yes, but if this was a computer with old hard drives, you wouldn't want to answer yes to this. Spot verifier, same thing. It's a Wi-Fi and cell phone thing, don't want it. Smart card removal, I don't plan on using smart cards of any kind on this computer, so I'm going to get rid of all the smart card things. Retail demo, nope, don't want it. Remote desktop, I don't plan on doing any of that remote desktop stuff. I don't want the phone service. I don't want any payments functionality. I don't want parental controls. I don't want SMS. Geolocation, I'll leave on. Uh, Downloading maps for Windows Maps, nope. Keeping track of my data usage, nope. So I'm getting rid of all those. So again, if I answer yes, I'm saying get rid of them. And it's now going to talk about telemetry and uh, or sorry, that was or yeah, that was telemetry. Make mixed reality portal removal. Yep. Do I want the Bing on the search menu? Absolutely no. I do not want Bing search. Do you want to get rid of Windows Maps auto download? Yep. Do I want to stop apps from having access to my account information, aka my email address, my name, my gender, my age, stuff like that? Yeah, I don't want apps having access to that, so yes, get rid of that. Do I want them to have access to diagnostic information? No, so I'm going to answer yes and get rid of that. Text message cloud backup? Nope, I don't want that, so I'm answering yes, get rid of it. Do I want to disable error reporting? Yes. Do I want to disable Windows recall? Absolutely yes. I do not want Windows recall. Do I want to completely disable the Microsoft Edge app? Yes. I do not want Microsoft Edge. Do I want to remove OneDrive? Yes. Do I want to have a clean start menu and taskbar? Yes. And next is tweaks. Do I want to block BitLocker from encrypting my computer? Yes, this is a personal PC. I don't want BitLocker encrypting my drive. Do I want to harden the C drive? Nope, this is just my computer. I don't need to prevent other users from using it, like from fiddling with the C drive, so I can answer no. Do I want to enable long path support? I'm a techie, so I tend to have really long paths, so I'm going to answer yes. Uh, do I want to disable last access time? I have absolutely no use for last access time on files, so I'm going to answer yes, get rid of it. Do I want to disable Edge's first run experience? I already got rid of Edge anyways, so I may as well say yes. Do I want to align the taskbar to the left? Yeah, I prefer it being in the left corner of the screen. Do I want to reset all the pins so that all those suggested apps go away? Yes. Do I want to hide that widgets thing? Yep, I don't like the stock market widget thing. Do I want the classic right-click context menus? Yes, I hate the new context menus. Uh, do you want to hide recent searches? Those are okay. I'm going to leave them in place. Do I want to disable storing activity history though? Yes, I don't want it remembering my activity history. Do I want to change the start menu into just a magnifying glass instead of a big fat bar? Absolutely. I hate that big fat search bar. Do I want to disable recommendations on the start menu? Yes. Do I want to disable recommended websites in the start menu? Yes. These are all ads. I hate them. The inventory function. Inventory collector is used for business computers. This isn't a business computer, so yes, get rid of it. Disable the camera on login? Yes. Do I want a verbose blue screen of death? Yes. If my computer crashes, I'd like to know why. Would I like a verbose startup and shutdown? Why, yes. I'd like to know what's happening when my computer's starting up and shutting down. Disable Meet Now, which is another thing like Teams. I don't want on my start menu. Go away. So yes. Clipboard suggestions. I hate that thing. If I hit paste, I want to paste, not ask me questions. So yes, getting rid of that. Sticky keys. I keep turning that on by mistake all the time. Yes, disable a shortcut. Filter keys. Yes, I don't want that on either. Toggle keys. Yes, get rid of that. Do you want to show file extensions? Yes, I like to know what my files actually are. So I'm going to say yes. Do I want to hide them though? No, that's just the opposite question. Do I want detailed information when it's copying files? Why, yes. Do I want it to show PC like this PC by default instead of the quick thing? the quick access is pretty much okay, so I'm going to just say no. Fast boot. Yes, get rid of fast boot. It causes way more problems than it solves. Disable clipboard sync. Yes, I do not want to share my clipboard on my computer with other computers. Do I want to disable clipboard history though? No, I tend to actually use clipboard history, so no. Windows Spotlight. Yeah, I want to get rid of Windows Spotlight. I don't want my computer doing Bing searches whenever my computer shows the lock screen. So there's all my choices. It's going to apply them, and there we go. It's done. That was a long trek, but there's a lot of options in Dadwin's Debloat. You could also do Chris Titus's, but his does not work from this screen. It can't do a debloat on a pre-installed state. However, you can always run Chris Titus's debloat tool after you've logged in for the first time. You can use O&O shutup though. You just can only do the system preferences, not the user preferences. So I'm going to do O&O shutup. I'm going to run offline. So the current user stuff won't do anything because we aren't logged in as anybody yet, but we can do local machine. And just for the purposes of doing this quickly, I'm going to just simply say apply only recommended settings. There we go. And then I'm going to close out of that. And do not restart Windows because MurrpTools still has to do its setup. So I'm all done doing my debloat. I'm going to say 0 to continue setup. And MurrpTools will take over again. And sometimes this takes a little while. Come on. I'll give this a couple minutes here. I thought I ironed out the last of this bug. If there is a really rare possibility of it freezing on this particular step, I don't know if it actually has froze or if it's just taking a long time to think about it. We'll just give it a couple moments. Hopefully in future versions this will completely disappear. Worst case scenario though is you just close this window, but I'm going to give it a moment just to see if it's just taking a long time here. If it takes more than, I'd say, like 7 minutes, then I will just suggest closing the window. It won't do any harm. The scripts it runs are pretty quick. I just don't know why with this particular bug, why it sometimes hangs here. It seems to be a 1 out of like 20 possibility, which has made it really hard for me to debug. Yep, we're going to assume that it finished. Uh, Hopefully we can iron out whatever this bug is. If This is one of those things where I would absolutely love to get more people to do testing to find out what causes these little oddities like this. But for this purposes, we'll just close the window so it can continue. Yep, so the first window did finish, it just didn't automatically close itself for some reason. So no biggie there. I will try to figure out what causes that and iron it out in the next version of MurrpTools though. So lastly, the final setup here. So whether or not you debloat Windows, MurrpTools has modified the out-of-box experience, the last setup screens of Windows. It will allow you to create a local account, which is strongly encouraged. If you want to link it to a Microsoft account, you can always do so after the fact, but always, always, always set up your Windows with a local account first. That way you maintain full control of your PC. If you were to sign in directly with a Microsoft account, you're basically handing your computer over to Microsoft and letting them own your computer rather than you. So you just choose your country here. I'm a Canadian Trekkie, so I'm going to choose Canada. We still use the United States language layout though, so yes. I'm not adding any additional keyboards. It's going to go ahead and look for updates like normal. And since we're waiting here anyways, this is the big important thing about MurrpTools. MurrpTools does not break anything in Windows on purpose. It is not like those other debloat tools where things are destroyed or wrecked to prevent things from happening. MurrpTools uses all of these standard big industry stuff, but the very same tools that large companies do to prevent having all that bloat for showing up for their normal users. MurrpTools entirely is using Windows' own tools, own properties, settings, and policies to block all that bloat. In no way does MurrpTools destroy or break anything. The only exception that I can think of at all that MurrpTools does that's a little unusual is specifically getting rid of Microsoft Edge. And that is simply because Microsoft Edge will not allow a proper uninstallation, no matter how nicely you ask Windows. So MurrpTools will break Edge, but if you ever want to put Edge back, it's literally as easy as just downloading the installer from the internet and it'll just repair itself. Otherwise, everything else is using industry standard machine policies, registry settings, all the usual stuff that big businesses do to control their Windows experience, rather than having to break anything by deleting files or changing anything that isn't supposed to be changed. So you'll notice here, it didn't ask us any of those privacy questions, and that's because we blocked them. It's not allowed to. So you can just simply set up whatever name you'd like. So I'm going to say Dabwin. And then if you'd like to, you can enter in whatever password you'd like. For the purposes of this, I'm just not going to bother entering in a password at all. And here we go. This is going to be our first login. Well, here we go. Ta-da! Clean start menu. No junky things asking you to install stuff off the internet. There's no stuff cluttering up the taskbar. The apps that are installed are only just the Windows stuff. So for example, if I told it to get rid of Xbox, Xbox wouldn't be listed here anymore, but I decided to leave it in there. So everything's nice and clean. There's nothing here that doesn't belong. No advertisements from the internet. No spotlight trying to show us random wallpapers and doing Bing searches. The start menu is instantaneous. I can open the file folders without any clutter. There's no OneDrive plaguing me everywhere in the system. Everything's quick and snappy like it should be. And of course, if you did want to run Chris Titus's tools, you can just double click on MurrpTools here. So it's the exact same Debloat menu that we had earlier. So I'm just going to choose option 4, Chris Titus. And sure, this time let's grab the latest version off the internet from Chris's website. And there we go. So for simple sake, let's say I want Firefox. Install. Drag this window up so you can see what's going on back there. This is just warning me I don't have a password set, so yes, Chris, because that's because I didn't make a password on this. Okay. This is actually new to me. I've never seen Chris's thing do that before. I guess it's just mad because I didn't have an actual password on the computer. But there we go. So all this is just me simply installing Firefox using Chris Titus's tool. And of course you can install a whole bunch of different apps using his tool here, which is really nice. There we go, done. So now there's Firefox on the computer, and you can see there's all kinds of tweaks you can do here as in addition. So Chris Titus has his own way of getting rid of Windows recall. You can turn off things like storage sense, Wi-Fi sense. You can turn off home groups, all kinds of different options in here that you can apply. But long and short of it, that's basically it. So I'm going to exit out, and there we go. There's Firefox on the computer now. And this is a nice, clean, fully stable version of Windows, and everything will work perfectly fine. You still have real Windows on the computer. It's still normal full-fat Windows 11, or if you were to decide Windows 10, and it works exactly like it normally should. There's nothing been broken. Windows Update still functions. Everything is still intact. The only thing that MurrpTools has done is it has disabled all of that bloat. It's told Windows every single possible place it can, do not install this. Do not add this junk that you didn't ask for. Basically, it's telling Windows, this is a business computer. Don't install consumer junk that nobody asked for onto it. But there you go. That's it. You've got MurrpTools installed, and that is it. Otherwise, it's now just a completely normal copy of Windows. Hope you enjoy, and I would always love it if other developers can join on into the project. I can definitely use help with making my Debloat tool a little bit more pretty, if having other bug testers come around and join me, as well as just general input. I really appreciate being able to work with the community here, and I really hope that this will improve your experience. So this was Dabwin and signing off, but hopefully you can enjoy Windows a little bit better than you used to be able to ever since Windows rolled around or Windows 11 rolled around. Take care, everybody. Have a great one.